that. We usually, as single men, don't have to constantly sacrifice for the sake of another. But when you say I do, things change. Things change. I'm going to list out a few things here for you just really quick. Some of this may feel funny for you ladies, but this is truth for the guys. Remember, I'm talking to the guys here. Guys, you have to learn to sacrifice to listen and communicate. See, most guys have a vocabulary of like 5 things, like food, sleep, love, and so you come home from work and you've already used all your words. You know what I'm saying? Like you made the business calls, you're like, and she's been working and she comes home, she's only used half of her words, and you're like, you got to sacrifice. Because see, here's the thing. I say this often. This is so true, and we need to understand this. You saying no to her emotionally is the same thing as her saying no to you sexually. You're like, hey, honey, I'm a little frisky. And she's like, I'm not in the mood for that. It's the same thing as like, her saying, hey, can I tell you about my day? Oh, I'm so tired. All right, I'll just lay here. You over with. Some of you got that. Husbands, you got to sacrifice to listen and communicate because your wife is wired emotionally, and that's valuable to her. And let me just tell you, this is very sobering. And I don't say it in jest, but here's the reality. Here's what I found. I've sat across the table from too many couples who, because the wife and because the husband wouldn't engage his wife emotionally, she unintentionally found somebody who would. There's always somebody out there who's willing to engage your wife emotionally. And you as the husband, you need to sacrifice. You need to engage. You need to communicate. You need to listen. You need to listen. Also, you need to sacrifice to do things she enjoys. And sacrifice to do things she enjoys. That means, obviously every single one of us would love a wife that just loves football. It's like, honey, can we watch the Falcons game? Can we watch the Patriots game, please? I don't want to watch all the other stations. We all want a wife, who'd love to do that thing. But the reality is this: as a husband, we have to sacrifice. Some of the greatest laying down of my life is HGTV. Yes. Oh wow, they flipped the house again. Like this is like they did it again. Like this is totally different than the last one. It's like complete. Oh, they moved and they bought another house and they looked at 3 and they bought one of them. I thought they were going to buy 2 this time. That was crazy. I'd much rather be watching this than watching Tom Brady throw a touchdown. It's awesome. It's so good. So sacrifice to help around the house. Sacrifice to help around the house. Some of our earliest arguments were things that we would fight about. Not like I just didn't understand it. Oh, I'm supposed to help too. We don't have a maid. You're not the maid. That we were in this thing together. And we often say this that the most attractive thing to a man is like his wife in like a skimpy outfit. The most attractive thing to a wife is her husband with a vacuum in his hand. Yes. Oh. Pull the wand out. Oh, yes. She's like, Oh, you emptied the dishwasher? Woohoo! Woo! Oh, you folded the laundry and put it up? Woohoo! That's going to be a good day, fellas. Let me just say that. Let's just be honest in here. If we can't be honest in church, I don't know what we're going to be honest about it. Serve in the house. Serve in the house. You got to sacrifice to stay physically fit. Physically fit. That's most men are in shape, round, and most men have done spill syndrome. Where your belly done spilled over your pants, and most of us we really try and stay in shape before we get married, and then we get married, and we're like, well, one more hot wing won't hurt. And then over time we're like, man, how did I get here? Here's the reality. Here's the thing, man. It really hit me last service. I want to be here. I want to be here for my kids. And I want to be here to grow old together. And man, we got to sacrifice to do that because man's taste buds, man, we want things, we want to eat, don't want to work out, we want to do all these things. And then lives get cut short. We got to sacrifice for that. Last thing, we got to sacrifice for romance. We got to sacrifice. Most men aren't wired this way. Some are, and you ladies are lucky. But most men are not wired romantically. Most men are like, hey, I told you I loved you when we got married, and we're good. I don't need to tell you again. And when was the last time you took your wife out on a date? When was the last time you fanned into flame the love that you have for each other? When was the last time you bought her flowers? When was the last time you just wrote her a card? When was the last time you initiated and said, I love you? When was the last time?